Hey viewers, my name's Kara. I'm your host for Tuesdays on the Pagan Perspective, and this week we are talking about / reacting to Peter Gray's essay entitled Rewilding Witchcraft. Now, I got a very late start on this video because I had rehearsal tonight, so I didn't get to read the whole essay, sit down and actually read it, comment on it, highlight on my computer and everything until about 10 o'clock this evening on Tuesday. Took me until midnight to get through the whole article because of reasons, and about an hour to outline what I wanted to say. So I'm actually just going to read my notes. I sort of scripted it, basically just going to read through that because it'll go faster. I'll have less editing to do. It's already 1 a.m. on Wednesday my time. So I just want to get through this for you. Link to the topic and the essay will be in the description, so you can read the essay yourself as well. I took notes while reading through the article, so a lot of what I'm going to talk about is that, and then ideas overall. At first I had no idea where this essay was going, and at the end I'm still a bit fuzzy, though I think I got some main points out of it, and it does mention that it has a lot to do with his book, Apocalyptic Witchcraft. So I'm sure if I could get through that, I would understand more of what this essay is about. But it kind of read like a research essay that I'd have had to read in undergrad, and my brain is apparently not primed to read that type of language right now. Plus, I was trying to read over my roommate playing video games and watching TV. So it was slow reading. I also had to look up several definitions of words, one which did not seem to have a definition. At first, I felt like I knew sort of where it was going, and at the core, I thought I might agree, but the tone in the beginning didn't sit well with me. There was something in there that I knew I wasn't quite understanding. Then the next paragraph made perfect sense to me, and I agreed much more with it, and I thought, if this was the point, why didn't I get that at first? But then the third paragraph threw me for a loop again. The collapse of neo-paganism? Dark fluff? I wasn't sure I knew what he was really talking about. But then it got environmental, and I was back on board. This stuff I know about. I may not have known all the specifics shared in this essay, but I'm familiar with the concepts and found myself nodding along with certain parts and finding other new details interesting. Rewilding, wolves, peak oil, fracking, climate change. Then back to witchcraft, and it sounded to me like he thinks that neo-paganism is detrimental to the diversity of witchcraft. Then a few things made me laugh with his brashness, such as when he suggests supporting something that he believes to be doomed, but doesn't find that a reason not to support it. Then talk of power animals and what has become of them in our world today, and how quickly so many species are facing extinction. A good many of his statements were poignant and beautiful, while being honest and fateful. His description of the poor state of the elements, and how we are welcoming all of these aspects when calling our quarters, is almost certainly terrifying if you haven't heard of these things before, and I suppose it should still be terrifying, even if you have. But through it all, he seems very lacking in any sort of hope, stating that things are inevitable, this is just how they are, and so on, so that I kept wondering exactly what is he proposing we do. And when he gets to it, it is alternatingly in language that reads to me as very dark, and language that reminds me of my own. He appeals to, it looks like, the whole range of feeling on the issue that is within the area of the concerned. But then it would always go back to the darker interpretation, and again, that is just my reading of it. Finally, what it seems to be is that he proposes witchcraft accept the inevitability of our and the Earth's demise, and concentrate our work on death, the lament, and the spirit realm. He lists as examples to emulate those who are, and here I quote, lifting roadkill from the asphalt for burial or reanimation, tending the graves of their neglected local cemetery, lighting candles for their ancestors, remembering the lost children. These things resonate with me because I already do more than one of them. Ah, I think, so this is what he means. But then, he suggests that we, quote, offer our support to those who are actively seeking to destroy industrial civilization by direct action against its infrastructure, end quote, and also, quote, begin to transfer our allegiance to the other world, end quote, because when this world ceases to exist, if we are to find further life, it will be there, not here. But, he says, this is no reason to ignore our responsibilities on this earth now. I'd need a more detailed explanation of what that looks like, because it reminds me too much of the arguments that many people make about the spirit world versus the physical now. And those who feel that the spirit world is more valid or worthy somehow already ignore or actively work against the physical. As pagans, I believe our work and our lives and our practice ought to be more rooted in the physical, as he says several times in this essay it is. So that the idea of transferring allegiance when this world dies seems wrong to me. But then I also know that there are pagans who do not consider their path to be concerned with the earth or the physical at all. So I know I do not speak for us all with these views. He says that our elders have failed us and have not prepared us. He says that this is true of witchcraft as much as our wider culture. And while I do see that in many ways, I also know that many people my age are shocked to learn that the majority of people who attend my Unitarian Universalist church are older. And the majority of people with whom I do environmental work, the people in the anti-fracking groups, the people cleaning up the beaches, are our elderly. Not all our elders have abandoned us, their eyes toward their future resting place, if they believe in one. But certainly, regardless of age, we seem to be the minority. I'm still not 100% sure what Peter Gray proposes we do. Beyond the examples given, he does say that, quote, each will find their own innate response, end quote, to this issue, or group of issues. I suggest you read the essay for yourself, keep notes on it to help you keep track of the main points if, like me, his language is not your usual vernacular. I was texting JD, my new Tuesday substitute host, about this, and we briefly mentioned the idea of using witchcraft to try and help the environment in some way, which reminded me of when I met David Abram, and briefly talked with him about the idea of the occult being used to help the earth. It was at that time that I told Abram that I did not believe that I did not consider magic to be supernatural, but in fact part of nature, and therefore I didn't think it was completely crazy to think that it should have something to do with whatever we choose to do to help nature. But I don't have a real plan for how that could work either. I don't know if there's a real answer to any of this, so maybe Peter Gray's approach is right. Embrace the inevitable and focus your work on what can help us moving forward. But it still doesn't feel right to me entirely. I do some of those things that he gave as examples, so maybe I do get it on a deeper level. I just wouldn't communicate it in the same way that he does. So give the essay a read, and if you like his writing, he has authored some other books, including The Red Goddess and Apocalyptic Witchcraft. There are also links to other resources included on the page of the essay, as well as an embedded video and other related media. Thank you so much for watching. Since next week is Subs Week here on Pagan Perspective, I will see you next month. Until then, don't forget to be awesome, blessed be, and goodbye.